This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
Over the last 4 years, I lost 170 pounds. Yes.
Can I see it before?
Sure.
Or would you rather not? Or?
Well, no, it's fine.
I think that's awesome. I want a before. Who's got a before on their phone?
It's in my phone.
Take it. No, girl, listen, I overrule whoever told you to take your phone off before you go to court.
This is the plaintiff, Tizia Ingram. She says she and the defendant were dear old friends, and she can't believe the woman's stiffing her on money she paid for some summer fun trips. That's right. She hasn't received a penny of the $640 she's owed. Their friendship is over, and she has no other choice but to sue her here in this court today. This is the defendant, Cherise Caldwell. She says she told the plaintiff she didn't have the funds for the trips, and the woman basically begged her to go because she doesn't have any friends. She's now heartbroken. The friendship's been lost over money. She did the plaintiff a favor by going on the trips, and she doesn't owe her anything because she told her she couldn't afford it. She's accused of stiffing a girlfriend.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milan in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
Welcome in.
Okay. Tizia Ingram, you're suing Cherise Caldwell, your dear old friend, as you called her, for 2 trips that she took that you organized, as well as a skirt she won't return. What happened? How long have you two known each other?
Approximately 13 years.
Wow. Okay. And what happened?
Over the course of our relationship, we've had a very rocky friendship with borrowing and loaning and being there for each other. Just so happens last year I gave several bus trips, and she.
What do you mean by you gave several bus trips?
I give bus trips. We go.
You say give, you mean organize?
I organize
Okay.
bus trips where we go to different either amusement parks, food eateries, things like that.
Yeah.
So I gave 3 bus trips last year, and she agreed to go on 2 of them, bringing her family.
And according to you, the price of the first one that she owes is $365?
Yes, ma'am.
And she went on that one, and did she have family members on that one?
Yes, she
Okay,
bought-
and then the price of the second one was $255.
Yes.
And did she have family members on that one?
Yes.
Okay, so she owes you $620.
Yes.
And she's never paid a penny of it. When was the first trip?
The first trip was June 17th, 2017.
And the second one?
Was August 12th, 2017.
And so what's happened between then and now? What kind of discussions have the two of you had about this?
We've had verbal discussions, we've had telephone discussions, and even text messaging in regards to the money owes. We've even did a payment plan.
If you said that you had a rocky relationship with her in terms of borrowing and lending, why is it that you fronted the money for the trip for her anyway?
She's a friend. We've done things for each other. We've been there for each other.
So the fact that you've had a rocky relationship in exactly this kind of situation isn't a red flag that if you want to keep your friend rather than have to sue her, perhaps you guys shouldn't engage in this kind of behavior of borrowing and lending?
Exactly.
What are you nodding about? You're the one who borrowed and lent. Okay, well, let's talk about the trips. What do you say these trips were?
Okay, basically I'm here, Your Honor, because I didn't say yes to the dress. We're going to get back to that later. This is the dress.
What dress?
This is my daughter's prom dress.
Prom dress?
Yes, this is the reason why I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, this is the dress. why I'm here.
Okay.
Because I didn't say yes to this dress. Okay? I did not ask to go on these trips with Miss Ingram. Miss Ingram begged me to go on these trips. Miss Ingram doesn't get along with a lot of her family members, and she begged me to go.
I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that she put a gun to your head and made you incur this debt?
No, that's my friend.
Okay, but you're supposed to pay her back, right?
No, she told me that please go because I can then pay her whenever.
Okay, so the idea though is not she's going to fund your trip.
Exactly.
You're supposed to pay her whenever you can.
Yes.
Okay, so you're supposed to pay. So you made a decision to go on the trip knowing that you would have to pay at some point.
Right.
When is some point? How many years have to pass before some point is ripe?
Okay, well, Miss Ingram knew of my ailments. One being now I just had surgery. I haven't worked. When I told Miss Ingram in the beginning that I could not afford the trips, okay? I told her I couldn't afford it. I didn't decide to take the trips until weeks late before. She had these up and, arranged 4 months. I told her I could not afford to go. She begged me to go. She asked me to recruit my mom, okay? She asked me to recruit my friend, and they also can be witness to her saying that I can pay her whenever.
Okay, we're gonna go with your version. You can pay her whenever.
I've never had.
No, I know. The problem is that when you two enter into an arrangement, so apparently there's not a lot of dispute here. It wasn't a gift. She didn't put a gun to your head and make you go, and you agreed to pay for the trip. So the question becomes a judge question when the parties don't have the sense to give a deadline. It becomes, well, what's reasonable? A year is past reasonable. Okay, so let's talk about the clothes. What happened here with the clothes? Apparently, at some point, you borrowed a bunch of clothes from her?
Right. Over the last 4 years, I lost 170 pounds. Yes.
Can I see it before?
Sure.
Or would you rather not? Or?
Well, no, it's fine.
I think that's awesome. I want a before. Who's got a before in their phone?
It's in my phone.
Take it. No, girl, listen,
Sure?
I overrule whoever told you to take your phone off before you go to court. That's awesome. How'd you do it?
Well, it was a lot of work.
Exactly. There's no shortcut. But tell me anyway, how did you do it? Eat less, work out more.
Yes,
yeah,
basically.
So how long did it take you to lose? How many?
170 pounds, about 2 years.
That's like another person.
Yeah. I was 346 pounds.
Don't look at it yet. Right. I know you wanted to.
I know the rules.
I know you. Oh, girl, I'm sorry. Please let me show this.
No, that's fine.
I can't stand it.
It's fine.
And yes, I'm sure you were always gorgeous, but I do
Thank
find
you.
this to be a lot healthier weight for you.
Yes.
And, it's unbelievable. So kudos to you, my dear.
Thank you.
So now tell me, so you lost 170 pounds. You lost a
Right.
person and a half, maybe 2 people.
Right.
And then you...
So Miss Ingram was very, excited for me that I lost the weight. So she would always offer me to come and shop in her closet. My mother always
There's
taught
two
me.
kinds of friends. There's the friends that are friends, and then there's the friends that are such close friends that you can shop in their closet, right? Okay, go ahead.
But I never did that. I'm an only child, so my mom always told me, don't borrow other people's clothes. That's just something that you don't do. But she had offered to me twice, two different occasions. So, it was one time I said I wanted to step out of the box. So she said, oh, I have the perfect things for you. So she wanted to show it to me. The only reason why I agreed to it because they had tags on
whatever. You
it.
agreed to it. You borrowed her
They
clothing.
had tags on it. I
You
borrowed
returned
it.
everything except
Right.
for a skirt.
That's the only thing
Why?
I wore. That was the only thing I did wear.
Yeah, but why did you keep the skirt?
I offered to pay for it.
Why? She doesn't want you to pay for it. She wants the skirt. She told you that.
have it.
Can you take the skirt and give it back to her? Now tell me about the prom dress.
Okay, this didn't. Miss Ingram is not telling the truth over us having conversations about this money. The reason why we didn't have a conversation is because Miss Ingram knew I couldn't afford it. I have
Are
zero.
you working?
No,
Have you worked in a year?
on and off.
Okay.
Because
Then
of
you
my
can
ailments.
afford it. You can afford. Did you pay $2?
No,
Did you pay $5?
I've been $0.
Did you pay anything?
No, she never asked me. She never said anything
Okay, so
about
what
it. She never
happened with the prom
mentioned
dress?
it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, the prom dress, the money did not get mentioned by Miss Ingram until she asked to borrow my daughter, 15-year-old daughter's prom dress.
Okay, now your daughter is 15, but she was going to the prom?
Right.
And your daughter, had she worn the dress to her prom yet?
Yes.
Oh, she had worn it. Okay.
She wore it,
and
but...
then so she asked to borrow an item of clothing in your house's, in your daughter's closet, not your closet.
Exactly.
And you said what?
I said that my daughter was not going to feel comfortable because it was still hanging up like it was still a wedding dress. She had just came up out of it. So she said she wanted it for her black tie event. And I told her, well, I can't, lend you that. So right as far as I'm on the phone, I'm going to see what's possibly in my closet and immediately give me my money. I want my money right now. It was not mentioned until I did not say yes to the dress.
Okay, well, I kind of understand why, I don't think I would have the authority to loan out I have authority to loan out anything, but I would not feel comfortable forcing my kids to loan a friend of mine who may or may not be bigger than my, because things stretch out or whatever. So did you get mad that she said, I can't loan out?
Basically, her daughter actually wore my skirt a few days prior. We went out to dinner. Her daughter had on the skirt.
That's a lie.
All right.
Now,
I don't care.
That's a lie.
So then when it was time with the, okay, let me borrow this, I can't. And it was like, you know what? It's really funny that you can do that. But then I asked the same thing and you can't.
Listen, I don't understand how we get here. I think that you are entitled to say, listen, I don't want to have a fight with my daughter. I'm sorry, you can have anything in my closet, but not my daughter's. Yeah, you have that right. But even if she gets mad at it, she's probably unreasonable in getting mad at that. What I don't understand is how after that, you still don't pay the money when a whole year has passed.
I have not been working.
Yeah, you know what? Go get a job. You seem very able-bodied. That can work, okay? I don't care. Do you understand the difference?
She called my mom.
Listen to me.
And apologize for her being wrong.
That's a you problem. Stop talking. That is a you problem, not a me problem, that you're not working for a whole year. That's a year. It's not a month, a day. Excuse me. It's not a month. It's not a day. It's not a week. It's a year. That is a you problem.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So if you have a friend who wants to borrow money from you, how do you protect yourself to make sure you get paid back?
Normally for me, I always think which kind of friend it is. It's like a close friend or like a friend of a friend.
It's a friend who wants money from you.
Yeah, it depends. Like I said, I would borrow. It depends how much money.
Well, what do you do to protect yourself no matter how much it is?
Just keep the relationship the same. Just keep in contact with that person and...
What do you do?
Keep sending me. I'd have him do an IOU on a written...
Hey, that's good. That's good, going inside the courtroom.
When you look at a judge and you say, I'm not working, do you think that's a defense? It's not a defense. I have to enter a judgment based on what I find you owe, and I find that you very clearly owe the money. And I'm a little disappointed in you as a person and a friend that after all of that, after she fronts you the money, and after, she loans you the clothes, and after you keep her skirt, that you don't repay what you have admitted you owe. And that your only answer is, I'm not working. You still can't figure out how to pay $20. Because would we be here if she had been paying you a little bit here and a little bit there?
No, that
of
was
course
the
not.
Your
Total sum of payment is zero.
I didn't
Trust
pay for
me,
any of that.
You don't look good. You should shut your mouth very soon. Verdict for the plaintiff in the amount of the $620, and you have the skirt.
So the plaintiff prevails in this lawsuit. Ms. Caldwell, I get the impression you don't understand why you still owe her the money. If you'll step over there, please, ma'am.
That's because it was due whenever. If I had it, I would have gave it to her. I didn't have it.
Okay, all right. One other quick question. How has your life changed after losing 170 pounds?
It's much lighter.
That's a good answer. There has to be a lot more than that, though, right?
Well, it feels good. It feels good. I did it for a health reason, so it feels good. It really does. I feel a lot lighter, and I feel very much energetic. It's much better in my life.
I gotta believe there's a lot more to it than that. All right, thank you very much. Anyway, congratulations. That's a great thing to lose that much weight. Ms. Ingram, you're right. The judge agrees with you?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good enough. Okay.
You know, the judge is so dead on here that if you owe somebody money and you can't afford to pay it back, pay them something back. At least you show good faith. It makes a huge difference. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
This is the plaintiff, Jared Wisniewski. He says the defendant knowingly sold him a car with a bad head gasket. He took terrible advantage of him, and he's suing today seeking justice. He spent $1,269.31. The defendant royally ripped him off, and he wants the defendant to take the car back and refund his money. This is the defendant, Lee Burchard. He says the plaintiff's his friend's son and the guy needed a car. He had an extra car sitting around, so he gave him a great deal. A few months later, the plaintiff called him ranting and raving because he was driving the car and a gasket in the engine blew. He had no control over the car once he sold it to the plaintiff. He didn't give him a warranty or anything like that, and he's sorry. But this guy's simply out of luck because he's not taking the car back. He's accused of unloading a bad car.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant screwed him over royally by selling him a car with a bad head gasket. But the defendant says he got a great deal, so tough. It's the case of blowing a big old gasket.
Thank you, Douglas. Mr. Wisniewski, you are suing Lee Burchard for $1,269.31. that you want him to pay you. Part of that, a refund on a car that you no longer want, and the rest, the sums that you spent to get it registered and insured. Okay, what's going on?
All right, well, I went to Mr. Burchard's house on, I believe it was July 15th or 16th to initially look at the vehicle. So I stopped over to his house.
And how did you know he had a vehicle for sale?
I'd been actually keeping tabs on the vehicle over a course of time. I'd been asking his son, Dylan, if the car was ever sold.
You're friends with his son?
Yes, that is correct.
Is this his son?
No, that's not the son.
Okay, who's
that? That's his oldest son.
Another son, just not the Dylan son.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
So I asked, I'd been asking Dylan about the car over a course of months, and he said his father hadn't sold it. And I said, okay, I'm looking to get my driver's license back. I've been off the road for...
How did you lose your driver's license?
I was written a ticket that I didn't have insurance when I really did, but...
So why didn't you just fix it?
I attempted to, and there was a long snowball effect, and...
Did you go to court and try to negotiate? Do you have your license?
Yeah, I have it now.
Okay,
Yes.
What happens then?
Okay, so I went and inquired about the vehicle at Mr. Burchard's house, and we were taking a look at it. It looks very nice on the outside. Interior is very clean.
What is it?
It was a 1997 Mercury Sable.
Okay.
And he popped the hood for me, and things didn't look bad under the hood, but then when he got...
How are you qualified to figure out if something looks bad under the hood? Like what? Is it pretty? Like what do you mean when you say that?
Well, nothing looked out of place.
Did you have a mechanic take a look at the car?
No, I did not.
Okay, go on.
So he popped the hood on it, we looked under, and then he got in the driver's seat, stuck the key in the ignition, and the car didn't start.
Didn't start?
Didn't start. So after a little while of talking, we decided that he said he was gonna call a mechanic friend of his, take a look at it, and he'll let me know in a couple days.
How long had the car been sitting there?
The car had been off the road for about a year.
For a whole year it hadn't been started?
No, it got started 2, 3, 4 times a week.
You would just start it and then turn it off?
I would leave it run. Sometimes it ran for over an hour.
Why? Well, that sounds like
just because I I multitask, so.
You forgot?
Yeah.
I multitask. That's what I'm going to call it whenever I forget something. All right, so it didn't start. So what did you do to it?
I had a friend of mine look at it. He said that it was the starter. I bought a new starter, put the starter in, didn't start. Checked the battery, turned out it was the battery.
All right, so in any event then, you end up selling it to him. He sells it to you for how much? $780?
Yes, that is correct.
So then you take the car, and when do you take the car? What month?
I purchased the car on July 19th, and then me and his son Dylan were actually working out how we were going to get the vehicle towed to my house because I could not legally take this car for a test drive or drive it, period, because it wasn't registered or insured.
Okay,
And
did you sign any paperwork when the car was sold?
I signed a bill of sale.
May I see the bill of sale?
I don't even know if I have it. No, I don't have it.
For the amount of $50. Why does it say $50 when we all know you paid $700 or $780?
When he wrote it up, he said he was going to write it up that way to save me money on tax purposes.
Oh, tax cheating. We're tax cheating now.
It's part of the American way.
Is it? Is it really? Because I don't know that it is. I don't know that it is, you see. For the amount of $50 in as-is condition with no warranty given or implied. What do you think the words in as-is condition with no warranty given or implied mean?
Take the car as it is. However, as is isn't what is. I was led to believe that this car was functioning and legally roadworthy and could be driven. I wasn't informed that there was already a pre-existing problem of the head gasket being blown.
How old was this car, my dear? 1997?
1997, yes.
Right. It's old enough to vote and drink. Okay? So you weren't informed of anything that was wrong with it because you didn't inform yourself of what was wrong with it. Your feeling is, he knew he sold me a piece of junk. He sold you a $780 car in as-is condition. What ends up happening? You keep the car for how long?
I had the car because he knew my plan, my layout for this car. After we negotiated price and I came back.
He knew your layout was what? What are you?
Well,
you didn't have your license back yet?
It was about 6 weeks I had the car.
So for 6 weeks you didn't turn it on?
I turned it on. I started it for about a half hour every single day.
And then after 6 weeks, what happens?
I got my driver's license back. That same day, I went and insured the car. The following day, I went down and I registered the car and retitled the car in my name. I drove the car for about 40 minutes, and in that 40 minutes, it stalled out on me and completely died on me 3 times.
Okay, and then what? And then what happens with the car?
Then after that, I gave Mr. Bouchard a call and discussed.
Right, but have you been driving the car? Is what I'm asking.
No, I only drove the car for that 40 minutes.
Right, but what? Okay, and so where's the car now?
The car is in the junkyard.
Okay, when did you junk the car?
I believe I junked the car around, about 2 days later.
I'm sorry, who just coached you on what to say? What is her relationship with you?
This is my mother.
Okay, wow. And how old are you?
I'm going to be 30 in January.
Okay. We're going to need to let him testify. All right, I am a helicopter mom myself, so I get it. But you can, all right, so do you have the paperwork to prove when you junked it? And or do you have paperwork to prove when it broke down?
No.
How do I know you didn't drive it for 2 months?
You don't.
Right. And so the way I would know is you would have taken the car to a mechanic to see what was wrong with it. Did that ever happen?
No, because how would I get it there without paying towing fees? So
you'd tow it. So so this is a kid who's this is a man who is a friend of one of your sons. When he calls you and says, we have a problem, does that put you in an uncomfortable position with your son?
No, not really with my son. My son doesn't, he steps out and he goes, hey, Dad, it's not my problem.
Right.
But when somebody calls up and is ranting and raving to me, telling that it's my fault because he blew a head gasket on the vehicle.
How did he know he blew a head gasket if he didn't take it to a mechanic?
That's what he told me.
Did it have a blown head gasket when you had it?
No.
Okay. And
never had anything wrong with it. I was surprised that there was any kind of problem with it.
So you were surprised when it didn't start that day?
Yes. But it was an older battery that was in it, but it had been starting, so you're not going to change a battery that's, to your knowledge, working at the time. Once
Sure.
it stops working, then you change it.
What you need to do, Mr. Wisniewski, is you need to take a good look at the car you're buying and what your rights are. You are buying a 1997 vehicle, which is going to have problems because it's a 1997 vehicle. And the contract you signed says, and the problems are your problem, they're not my problem. That is what the phrase "as is condition" means.
Well, I do
Stop
have,
talking. There's nothing else for you to say.
I have more evidence, though.
What more evidence could you have? Do you have a different contract?
I have text messages from his son's ex-girlfriend, who was a frequent passenger in that car the entire duration that car was on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And she even told me what was wrong with that vehicle that he didn't.
Oh, let's see that.
So it's a 21-year-old car. Plaintiff doesn't have it checked out by a mechanic and now is complaining. Plaintiff out of luck?
Oh, no, because the car is very old. Nobody checked it, so...
Well, nobody checked it. The question is, whose fault is that?
I mean, you bought the car as is.
Is it as is? Does as is mean tough luck?
Yeah. Yeah, in the car business, yeah.
What do you say, man?
I say yes, he's out of luck.
Out of luck, going inside the courtroom.
This is who? This is the girlfriend of his son.
His son's ex-girlfriend, who was a frequent...
ex-girlfriend. Why did your son and the girlfriend break up?
I'm sure there was they weren't on good terms.
I got that feeling. Is it
Sounds
really
like a
going on
vendetta.
people's court? I got to see this. LOL. I hope you win. That's He threatened to kill me because I threatened him with legal recourse based on the situation. Who threatened to kill you?
He did.
How did he threaten to kill you?
That's what I was trying to tell you before. When I called him up after the car died, I carried myself very nicely. I talked to him. I said, "Hey, Lee, can I talk to you for a moment?" And I said, "The car you sold me has a blown head gasket, and I wanted to talk about getting my money back." He says, "You're not going to get it from me." And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "Because I'm not going to give it to you." And then I said to him, "Do I have to come down to your house, drop the car in the driveway, and hit you with some form of legal recourse?"
And that's when he said to you,
very explicitly, he threatened me.
"If you come to my house, Mother Blanker, I will blanking kill you." Did you tell him that?
If somebody's going to
It's the American way.
Street justice.
No, we don't do street justice. Okay. You're still out of gas. If you had a chance to inspect the car, if you chose to buy a car, because it's the only car you could buy for $700, and it has problems, and what problems it has, we don't even know because you never bothered to take it to a mechanic to find out what it would take to fix it. All of which would help because if there was, if the mechanic is telling you, this transmission's shot, and you could testify that he had said to you, "I put in a new transmission." Those are ways to get around the as is, no warranty, because it is a warranty to swear to you that, to tell you and induce you to buy it by saying, "I put in a new transmission," none of which happened in this case. But anyway, "I put in a new transmission. It turns out then those are the ways people get around how they have nailed themselves with their contracts. And I shouldn't even say nailed because every used car sale is an as-is sale, even if they don't put it in the contract. The default position is it's an as-is sale. But you buy it, then it sits in front of your house for I don't know how long, and then you drive it around, and then you expect that not only you're going to get your money back, you're going to get what you had to pay for insurance and what you had to pay to re-register the car with all your myriad of problems. You're out of your mind. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
At least I cost him daytime.
So, the judge finds you out of luck, Mr. Wisniewski. You learned a lesson in buying a used car.
A little bit, but this kind of thing happens to a lot of people, and there should be more things that are in effect to protect people like me from people lying about things like that.
I assume it happens all the time when people buy used cars, but you should have read the contract. Car as is, no warranty implied.
Well,
anything wrong, you're out of luck.
Yeah, but
you learned the hard way.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Yep. Mr. Burchard.
Hi, how are you?
Did you really threaten to kill him? Tell me true.
I wouldn't kill anybody.
But did you threaten?
If somebody wants to get physical with me, I'm ready to get physical with them.
All right. Did you think the car was a bad one when you sold it or not?
The car was fine when I sold it to him.
Doesn't sound like it was.
Well, that's his opinion.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. You must sign a few documents on your way out of the courtroom, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Harvey, another lesson in buying a used car.
Doug, listen, this is an as-is sale, as the gentleman said, and unless you can prove fraud, you're out of luck, unless you get a warranty. And you can always ask for or demand a warranty with a used car. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Since you're new to H&R Block, we'll look at your returns from the last 3 years for any money your last guy might have missed, for free.
I could get money back from last year?
You could. We'll find any mistakes.
Could have really used that 2 years ago when I dated that mistake for 5 months.
Don't leave money on the table. Switch to H&R Block and get a free Second Look review. Second Look is included at no additional cost with the purchase of tax preparation. Results vary. All tax situations are different. Fees apply if you have us file an amended return.
This is the plaintiff, Darcy. She says she rented an apartment from the defendant and was horrified to discover the place was infested with bed bugs. The crummy defendant did nothing to eradicate the problem. There were also mice and vermin in the place. The mold was so bad in the bathroom there were mushrooms growing. And she did what she had to do and moved out. The terrible defendant refuses to return her rent, and she's here to expose her evil ways and is suing for the return of her $1,400. This is the defendant, Heather. She says the plaintiff brought the bedbugs into the apartment and she treated the problem with a professional exterminator. Then out of nowhere, the woman gives her only 10 days' notice, moves out, and expects to get all her money back? No way. She's accused of bugging a tenant out. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,800 for remaining rent owed and trash removal.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the place she rented from the defendant had bed bugs, mice, and other vermin. But the defendant says the plaintiff brought the bed bugs in herself. It's the case of the bed bugs bite, and so do you.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Darcy and Heather, we're on a first-name basis. Darcy, you're suing Heather, your former landlord, for $1,400 that you want returned to you. The money that you did pay for July rent, for part of it, plus the last month, which you paid at the beginning of going in there. You are counterclaiming against her for the remainder of July, the remainder of the last month, because according to you, she left after that, plus damages. Okay, how long did you live in that apartment?
I originally moved in on January 2017 on the 3rd floor, but then I ended up moving down to the 1st floor.
When did you move down to the 1st floor?
On August of 2017.
Okay, so you had been, and when did you move out? July, end of July? So you spent about a year down in the 1st floor?
Correct.
All right, and why did you move from the 3rd floor?
Because the 3rd floor was infested with bed bugs, and it had mice as well. When I first moved in...
When did it get infested?
Shortly after I moved in.
You moved in January.
Yes.
And you moved to the bottom floor in August. How did you let her know that there were bed bugs?
I texted her.
Okay. Do you have the text in January of 2017 to show me that you texted her?
No.
All right. Do you have any emails?
No.
All right. When did she let you know there were bed bugs?
She probably let me know when she moved into number 5, which was downstairs, which was in August, but I would say probably a couple months after that.
Okay, so according to you, she had never complained about bed bugs in January of 2017. She had never complained when she was upstairs?
No, she did not.
Okay. Do you have text with her in your phone?
I have plenty of texts from her.
Let's see if that's 2017 or 2018.
I mean, she did notify me of the bed bugs, but not till much later.
So these texts go back to September of 2017. Did you have a bed bug problem the entire time that you were living there? Is that your testimony from January?
Yes, correct.
The whole time?
Yes.
How come you're not talking about it, though, in your text to her?
Some of it was verbal. I also have a letter from a state worker that came to my house from March of 2017 till August 20th of 2018 of what she witnessed while she visited my house weekly.
Why are there state workers?
Oh, it's just, I just do, my daughter has behavioral issues, so I asked for them to come in and help with my family.
How old is the daughter?
She's 9.
Do you know why then she wanted to leave?
I just assumed it was because she had a child and she needed a bigger place to stay in.
Did she say why? When did she tell you she was going to leave?
She told me July, I believe, 12th.
That she was leaving that month?
Yeah, she said
What did
she
she
was
say?
moving out August 1st or August 2nd.
Was she on a month-to-month at that point or on a lease?
Yeah, she's always been on a month-to-month.
When did you notify her that you were moving?
On July 12th of 2018.
And you left, so you didn't give her 30 days notice?
No, I did not.
Okay, but your feeling is I still shouldn't have to pay rent because it was unlivable?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the bed bugs. Who was living there?
Myself, my husband, and my 2 daughters right before my son was born.
Okay, in January of 2018, you're showing her pictures of the apartment because you're complaining about a leak. You don't say anything about bed bugs. When was it? So when do you think you think that it's a few months after she moved in downstairs? So
downstairs. It was the, I believe it was like March.
Did you have an exterminator go over?
Yes, I did.
All right. May I see the receipt from the exterminator that proves when they went over? All right. So they went in March, was it? How many times did they go?
They went 6 times.
You have some pictures you want me to see, right? Let me see your pictures. He will not exterminate unless the apartment is properly prepared. So were you there on 7/16?
I was there when the guy did come on that date, yes.
Okay. Did you talk to him at all?
Yes, I did.
Did you show him any bed bugs or show him bites or show him, I think these are pictures of bites,
Those are pictures of bites and the bed bugs. I did, and he asked me how the problem was, and I said, my children have bites all over the place. We keep getting bit. And he said, do you have an infestation? He said, you have an infestation? I said, yes. And then...
Ay, pobrecito. Let's see the scratch. How old's this boy?
He's 9. That's my nephew. He slept at my house for one night.
All right. You are coming to court today because you feel that the $500 you paid for July, you shouldn't have to pay, but you did stay the entire month of July.
She told me that she was waiting for an equity loan, that she had no money to afford to pay for the bed bug removal. So if I could at least give her $500, half of the rent, so she could process the bed bug removal. That's why I gave her the money, because I wasn't going to give her money at all.
Does that sound familiar, equity line and all that?
I don't know about the equity line or anything like that.
Well, that's a really weird thing.
Equity loan.
Do you have an equity line? That's so specific, you know?
I was just, to be honest, I was just trying to get what I could out of her for rent.
Frankly, I'd just like to understand, is there ever, you claim that from the minute you walked in a year and a half ago, a year and 8 months ago, you've had bed bugs. I'd like to see any evidence of any complaint about bed bugs before July.
This goes back from April of this year.
Okay. And then you also have, you were going to say?
The letter from the worker that was from the house.
Okay, perfect. That's the worker who was there observing?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, now this is dated September 25th. And it says, from March to August, they had lots of problems, and then it lists the many problems. On June 29th, okay, the bed bug infestation gotten so bad that HIT, that's in-home family therapist, tried to support the mother in calling the Board of Health to get an inspection. And then your therapist says, we can't meet you at the house until the bed bug infestation is resolved.
Yeah, they had to meet me outside.
Okay, so this is June. This is in June, what she's talking about here and describing.
Yeah, that's of last year when I was living upstairs. That's before
Of 2017.
That's before I moved downstairs. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. So it certainly does seem that there are some verbal complaints to you about bed bugs. According to the therapist, there were problems in the upstairs apartment too.
So if a place you rent has bed bugs, can you break the lease and get your security deposit back?
Well, I'd say you should talk to the landlord. And
Well, can you get your security if the landlord won't give it back? Are you allowed to get your security back?
I would.
Why don't you go with yes?
I would say yes.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
Now let's talk about your counterclaim against her.
She left a whole bed in the apartment. She left a table, a mirror, and the refrigerator was just, there was no way that.
Do you have pictures of that?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
May I see them? All right. I think that there's plenty of evidence of complaints about bed bugs throughout a rather consistent time, which you are finally showing me. In April, with that letter from the person, and I am seeing here now July 30th, where you said the bed bugs are worse. Are you sure you had a legit exterminator here? I'm having a baby tomorrow.
Oh, that's June 30th, yes. I had the
June
baby.
30th?
Yes,
okay.
that's June 30th.
I can't be bringing a newborn into this mess. Myself, my husband, and kids were attacked the night before last night, and again this morning. I caught 6 alive bed bugs. Why would she have to pay? She's not going to pay July, and you got to return her last month's rent. Let's talk about the damages and whether there's an offset against that. These are the pictures of how she left the place. What am I looking at?
That is her bunk bed.
Which is where?
It's out in the bushes. She just threw it out in the bushes.
Did you throw your bunk bed out in the bushes?
No, I placed it right beside the dumpster. The dumpster.
Yeah, but why didn't you just get rid of it? You're supposed to get rid of the stuff. What's this? This is how
That's the refrigerator.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
My daughter colored.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't you. Yeah, that's kind of bad. And where was all this?
That was all the other bulk trash that was in the dumpster, and that's the bed that they had left behind.
Is that the bed bug bed?
Yes.
Okay. Leaving there as the gift who keeps on giving.
Yeah, I threw everything away. I threw all the baby stuff
And then $900 to paint the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I find that you're entitled to $200 for the trash removal, and I'm going to find that you are entitled to $750 for painting. That's a total of $950 on the damages. I find that you are entitled to the $500 for July back that you're asking for, and the $900 for the last month's rent that you had previously paid for. And that is a total of $1,400. When I subtract the $950 from the $1,400, it means a net judgment in your favor in the amount of $450. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff prevails in this case. Heather, the defendant's just come out of the courtroom. You're going to have to give her back $450, and that'll call it even. You okay with that?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I did my best trying to get rid of the bed bugs.
It sounds like it's a real problem
It
there.
is. It is. It's difficult to do. So I have to call maybe a different company or something.
Yeah, you're just going to have to keep after it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a real problem. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. All right, Darcy, are you in a better place now?
Yes.
No bed bugs?
No bed bugs.
Okay. The kids are okay?
Yes, they are.
And the baby's all right?
Yes, he's doing great.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Harvey?
Something called a warranty of habitability, which applies to every lease, and that means it has to be reasonably safe and healthy. Bed bugs ain't.